All right. Professionalism at its finest. Dun dun dun. This is Tim, New York Giants Straight Talk powered by like Big Blue LLC. What about Brian Burns? A lot of fun today, guys. A lot of fun today. It's that hangover day. It's that day where you're just like, I'm so good. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Lou? What's going on? What's going on, brother? Everything's good. But it's one of those days you want to talk about the draft. You want to talk about it finally being over. You want to talk about the idiocy that some people have in reference to this draft, not us. And I'm not trying to say that to be facetious. I gotta move this around with these new overlays and all these other new fun stuff they're making me do. But I'm just happy it's done. We did a draft video, did a draft live stream yesterday. I would say 85% of the live stream was positive. Gave the draft a solid B plus because of the fact there were certain things that went in the draft that if you look at positional value in regards to the way the Giants play defense or the way the Giants potentially play offense, because we don't know yet. We don't know the scheme. So a lot of times you want to fit your players to the scheme. Kind of makes sense, right? Have players that fit the scheme. Crazy talk. Well, evidently I had comments from people, and you know what time it is, guys.
Stupid giant Twitter posts.
We literally had people say to me, why do you need players that fit the scheme? You don't know anything about football. So if you draft an undersized defensive end, you try to run a 4-3, probably not going to work. You draft multiple linebackers who can't play the run, you're not running a 3-4. You want players that fit the scheme of your team. It's just logical fucking football sense. But some Giant fans don't get it. It's knock knock. Who's there? McFly. You don't get it. You don't get football. You don't get sports. And to think we're just spewing negativity because we say something like Darius Alexander is a slight of build 305-pound defensive tackle who was the 13th taken. That's just all facts. You want to talk about the facts that Jackson Dart's meteoric rise didn't occur till after his playing career was over at Ole Miss, and we read multiple scouting reports of directly, and I love this other idiot because I said we read multiple scouting reports directly after the end of the college football season, and they all say this about Jackson Dart, and people are like, some idiot literally said to me, "Well, he didn't get to the playoffs, so what does it matter?" I'm just saying we're reading stuff that occurred after the season ended, after his playing days were done. Lou, I saw this. I'm going to get to Lou right away here because I saw this one. How do you feel about Sanders? Was it fair? No. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not a guy that sits there and says this was a conspiracy against Shedeur Sanders. Well, I think it might have been. And I love the people that are so delusional to think that that collusion doesn't occur. Baseball got sued for collusion and lost. Say that again. I'm going to say that again for the slow people. Baseball got sued for collusion and lost. If you don't think Colin Kaepernick is collusion, then you're pretty crazy. You don't think the likes of Tim Tebow is collusion? You're telling me these two guys could not be third-string quarterbacks in the NFL? Jake Fromm can start a game for the Giants. Daniel Jones can play in the league and get money. Yeah, it's unfair. Everyone had him, and I love how everyone just kind of dismisses it now. Everyone had him as a first grade talent, except you heard a few people say he wasn't, but you never saw any names behind the people that said he wasn't. He's not a first grade talent. Okay, well, who are these people that said that? Because the majority of the people had him going somewhere in the first round, and to slip to where he did to Cleveland, I think it's more of the Deion Sanders effect. I think it's more that I love it because someone tried to show me where he went after the opposing quarterback after the game ended, and how bush league that was. That was terrible. Oh, that's so bush league. Did you fail to mention the fact that that quarterback that he went after, was disparaging Shedeur Sanders and his family on Instagram before the game? Yeah, if someone says disparaging things against my family before the game, yeah, I'm kind of going after him a little bit. Just a little bit. And then the one that he pushed the referee, he kind of moved. First of all, the one referee. First of all, I'm going to tell you something. This is the other problem I have. A majority of people that watch YouTube don't never play football, do not know the the emotional hype that occurs when you're on the field, the intensity, the adrenaline. Sometimes you push people, you don't know who the hell you're pushing. You don't know. Something gets you in your way. You don't know who it is. I once shoved my own teammate over a pile of people because I didn't know who the hell he was. Because it's the adrenaline. So I'm not going to sit there and fault the kid because there's been plenty. And it's not like he tried to shove him into the parking lot. I think Shedeur is going to have the last laugh. I do. I do. But let's get into the chat. I saw Trent Nardia. Listen, you freaking Eagle fan. Stop drafting one of the best linebackers in the draft every year. I'm sitting there watching it. I didn't even know this kid was still on the board. And then you grab him at 32? Okay, balls of fire. I really wanted the Birds to draft Skattebo. I like Skattebo. I did my I love it because I did my rankings and I broke it down, and I broke it down vis-a-vis, we had positional grades from 100 to 0, and we gave positional grades for draft position, overall talent needs, fit to scheme, immediate impact, and total grade. So I had Cam Skattebo at 105 being a positional draft value at an 86.2, which would be considered a high range value. I then had his overall talent at an 81.5, which is to me is potential starter. Not exactly a starter, but a potential starter. Starting grade for me is an 88. I only put him at that percentage because of the fact that he's technically a 2-down back. Yes, he can catch the ball out of the backfield quite well, but he doesn't have a second gear. He's Wayne Gallman. He's going to get you those tough grind out yards. He's a perfect complementary back to Tyrone Tracy, which is why I gave him a team need of an 85. He's the perfect complementary back. And then I gave him a fit to scheme of only a 73, which is low team value because of the fact that I don't know what the scheme the Giants are running yet. I don't know what the Giant running scheme is going to be. I gave an immediate impact value of an 83 for a total grade. Now remember, a non-starter but contributor is 78 to 70, potential starters 87 to 79. So he came at an 87.66, which is just on the cusp of being a contributor and potential starter. You're just blasting the kid. Literally makes my fucking head hurt. He's a perfect complementary back to Tyrone Tracy. He is a grinder. Only thing you need to be concerned of, backs that have this many carries over a 2-year period of time in college usually don't have as productive as an NFL career. I'm not looking at you, Ron Dane, who went much higher, of course. And then you also have to be leery, since the fact that we know he doesn't have a second gear. He ran a private work. He didn't run at the combine, didn't run on his pro day. He ran in a private workout anywhere between a 4.6 and a 4.7. So which means is he's not going to burn. Once he has a nice initial burst, but when he gets into the second level, there's not going to be much else unless he bruises his way through. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not every single pick is a knockout in the history of the fucking world. Grow up. Get out of your mom's fucking basement and grow up. I like the pick. I gave the Giants draft a B+. But somehow we were negative. Oh, you're so negative. Because I don't like Jackson Dart. But we're going to get back into the Jackson Dart thing. Dennis says, sup, Tim. Dennis also says, already hearing fans saying the same thing they said about Daniel Jones. So many fans kneel at the altar of Jackson Dart, it's not even funny. And I don't even know why. I hope the kid succeed. I hope the kid is this immense professional that is just going to defy all expectations of all Giant fans, including myself. But I watch it and I keep looking at the Jackson Dart thing, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a headache, because I've said this before, and we're not going to go through all the way through it, but take a look And this is easy to do. And I went and found like 7 different people. Take a look at Jackson Dart's scouting report a week after the end of the college football season. This is all the college football euphoria is done. People are now getting into the draft. A lot of the things that were said is what we have been saying on this show. And one of the biggest issues is this, and I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again, and it's not Jackson Dart's fault because it's the system that Lane Kiffin runs. Dart was able to make reads pre-snaps, but often made plays based on one reads or half the field reads. There is some, but not enough evidence to confidently suggest Dart could consistently process defensive coverage post snaps, nor was there enough evidence to show he could make full field reads. These factors are common when a quarterback plays in a scheme set up college offense that's obviously critical for in the NFL success. And one of the other big things about Jackson Dart has a track record of not being, this is from another scout, has a track record of not being clutch late in games. Last year, his completion percentage in the fourth quarter was under 60%, worst of any quarter with a 15% off target rate. That was consistent over 3 years at Ole Miss, 60.1 completion, 12.4 off target rate in the fourth quarter. It was especially noticeable in the 3 years at Ole Miss and 1 at USC. Dart threw 0 game-winning touchdown passes and led the Rebels to game-winning scores late in the fourth quarter twice in 3 years. Okay. We also we don't want to talk about the fourth quarter in the Florida game where he threw 2 interceptions. Technically, it was 3 because one was called back. And then I love it because another scout, I love it, listed this as a strength. That once again, that he is good in a half field scheme, which means what they did at Ole Miss is what they did with Daniel Jones, which is why I find plenty of people are giving Daniel Jones a parallel. Pat Shermer was a fucking mad genius. Cut the field in half, gave Daniel Jones 2 options. Third option was the run. Lane Kiffin does the same thing. And I love it because this was a pro by one of the scouts. Primarily got by on one read, half field reads, but was able to frequently process what he saw on those reads and had some success. If I have a one field read, shouldn't I be able to process that? Everyone wants to look at his wonderful attributes after the season ended, and Colin Cowherd said it best. How come every time we hear about a quarterback that is hyped up after his college career, not so much during his college career, that they usually flame out? Just saying. Trent says, good morning, guys. On my way back from New York to North Carolina. Glad I got this stream to keep me entertained. Well, Trent, hope you can keep me entertained and drive safe. What about Brian Burns? What's up, Dan the Man? Dan the Man, who was on the other day. Jason says, I'm drinking. Come on, Jason, you don't want to drink this early. I'm shocked that Distro did not trade Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not shocked because everyone wants to lull Joe Shane for the last 2 drafts. Well, what about the first 2? Do they not count? Do those 23 picks just kind of forget about them? That never happened. And we're not even sure what this last year's draft is going to be because year 2 is totally different in the NFL than year 1 because the league now has film on these guys. Just throwing it out there. Lordy help us. Herbologist, what's up, Tim? Big Blue Nation. Trent says, my Eagles didn't draft a single player that I knew. You got a good linebacker. You got another good, I hate you. You got another good linebacker that I would love to have. But Jason said, it's okay. I work nights. Oh, okay, then drink away. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. That's fine. Well, it's 11 o'clock here. It doesn't matter what fucking time it is when you drink. How do you feel about this? Oh, we got that one. Misha Robbins, let's see. Wanda Robinson is going to prove this year showing that they will pick the right Dart College teammates. Juice Wells, an unrestricted free agent. I thought Wanda Robinson didn't go to Ole Miss. Went to Kentucky. I'm a little confused on that, but okay. Zagatech says, I found something interesting about Dart's throwing motion. It looks like Peyton Motion's throwing motion for 2015. No zip on the ball, and very bad long ball throws or ducks. Jackson Dart throws like a shot putter. I mean, like a javelin thrower. We talked about that. And again, okay, you want to talk about his throwing motion? Let's talk about it from another scout. Threw at different arm angles, which was fine, but his release point was closer to his chest than his head, leading to 9 batted down balls in 2024, same as shorter passers Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, and 20 over his 3 years at Ole Miss. Coaches could address this, but it might end up being a tendency. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Also, they talk about how he throws high. He's talking about how he throws high after 40 yards. But like I said, we're going to hope the kid does well. Dr. King would say it's not the color of his skin, but the content of his character. There are so many people that are assholes that are excellent players. I think it's a mixture of his father, himself, him thumbing his nose at the NFL process in reference to going out and looking at prospects. So I think there's a little bit there. Wandell is a skinnier Darren Sproles with no talent. I actually thought, and I've said this a million times, and maybe that's why Trenton's bringing this up. I said that we should use Wanda Robinson in the Darren Sproles-esque role, even from San Diego to the Philadelphia, because Sproles, why he didn't run the ball the more than 64 to 100 times a year, was averaging like 5-6 yards a carry, and he was proficient in returning punts and catching out of the backfield. I think Wanda Robinson should fit in the same mold. Now, the only problem is Sproles had a second gear. Wandell, going back to Kentucky, he doesn't really have that. He doesn't have that. He has the initial burst, but he does not have long speed. But again, like I said, for Giant fans, that's a negative. Let's see here. A shitty posthumous attitude will get you banished from everyone. Are you talking about Shedeur Sanders or me? Which one is it, Shedeur or me? Because I'm still here. I love one person on the comment section was like, well, that's why you only have 12,000 subscribers. So never sat there and said I want to be popular. If I was, I would just be like, hey, let's do shots of fireball and everything's great. I'm not saying as a compliment to Dart. Not saying, no, I know you, Zach, I know you're not. That's why I read the comment. I just read, Jesus. For sure, Dan the Man says, Trent says, Sanders acted like a clown. No team wants to let a player look bigger than the league. I don't disagree. Jason also says, allegedly, Dabs almost stank in their interview. You have to play the game. And I'm not me. I mean, I just, normal people have to play the game. Me, I don't have to play the game. I do whatever the hell I want to do. Because I don't have a job and I don't care and I don't work and I've been retired since I was 42, so I don't give a fuck. But when you go out into a job market, when you go out into the NFL, when you go out into anywhere, you have to play the game. You have to play, not all, you don't have to completely go by the rules, but you have to play by the rules enough so people don't label you as a malcontent. And that's what happened to him. Trent says, Tim, I usually agree with you, but the kid sat in a draft room, covered his word legacy, wearing a massive chain. They retired his number at Colorado before he was even drafted. He didn't tell them to retire the number of Colorado. You don't have, it's okay, Trent. You can disagree with me. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Dennis says he took the 6th best quarterback, the 13th best defense tackled, low tier running back, another tight end that doesn't block. This was a bad draft. No, I can't agree with that, Dennis. I'd like to agree with that. Outside of the Dart pick, Darius Alexander, to me, positional grade value comes out. Like I said, the final grade score, we're not going to go through it all because I've got a video going through it today or tomorrow. But the final grade score I gave the Darius pick was a 79.32. Potential starter is an 87 to 79. Non-starter is what is non-starter? Non-starter contributor is a 78.70. I got him at a 79.23. Yes, he was the 3rd defensive tackle taken. Yes, he is undersized at 305. Yes, he stayed in college for an extended period of time. But if he is not going to hold up well against the point of attack, that's not what he's not a space clogger. But if you were looking for he's not a complete complementary player to Dexter Lawrence, but he is a guy that can eat space He won't hold the point of attack well. He also gets knocked on his ass a lot, but he'll hold the point of attack. He has a proficiency with his swim moves, and he's got these long ass arms. I've talked about it before. He's got these like I've how many times I said I got long arms. He's got long arms. And when you have long arms in the NFL, it's conducive for when you are a pass blocker because you can get underneath the teats of the defensive player and push. You're not supposed to hold like that, but you can get underneath and push and give you a little bit more extension. Same thing with the defensive player. If you have the long enough of your arms and you're using leverage correctly, you can use them in a manner that if I'm going up against an offensive lineman, I can literally take my longer arm, if possible, slide over the top and go around, which he did in college. And I could use that mass and that strength, because he does have some upper body strength, and control the line of scrimmage, especially as a pass rusher. And I'm putting the kid on special teams. I want him to fucking block kicks because he's athletic and he can jump and he's got telephone poles for arms. So I don't undervalue that pick. Marcus Bowe, I gave Marcus Bowe, here, I'm going to put up the chart. Hold on. I'm going to put up the media asset charts because now we have media assets. I'm going to put up the chart. Here we go. Here's the chart. And you can see I have Marcus Bowe listed at a total grade of 72.52, which is non-starter contributor, but just on the lower end. He is proficient because he is both a tackle and a guard. He played both positions in college. Now, he is, again, another guy that is slighter of build and is not as proficient run blocking as he is pass blocking. But if you're going to go with a high value, short passing game, not really a West Coast style type offense that sets you up for the deep shot, you're going to want someone like him. And honestly, if you take a look, and that's why he's a better scheme fit. I know a lot of moron fans don't want to understand scheme fit, but I know he's a better scheme fit for what Dable wants to do, which will allow him. Okay, here's the thing. I'm working with the media company. Do we like it here like that? Hold on. Let's I'm working on with all these. We're working with these media assets. Here we go. Let's click that off for a second here. Where's Dennis? There it is. How do I take it? Okay. So let's see. Do we like, because we got like tons of these because we're professional now. Do we like the online Big Blue on the top, or do we like the online Big Blue on the bottom? Top, bottom, top, bottom. Bottom, top. I like the bottom. I'm going bottom.
That's what she said.
Okay. But so Bo, I don't have a problem. Here's the problem. I think Abdul Card, like I said, I gave it a total grade of 89, which is impact player. I gave the dart grade of 68, which is project. I gave Alexander a just below starting grade. I gave Cam Skattebo, same thing. I gave Marcus Bowe, as a contributor. And I think the tight end coming off 2 ACL surgeries early, who's not an inline blocker, who's going to be he's going to be a pass guy. I don't see him making the team. And Corey Black, I think the same thing, special teamer at best. But don't worry. That's all negative. Great balls of fire. What else we got here? Hold on, where am I? What's up, Big James? I'm trying to see where I left off. Tim, I usually agree with you. Okay, well, I'm just this is the best part with me, Trent. All I read was this. Tim, I usually agree with you. Okay. See, I don't need the rest. I don't need to read the rest. The Colorado State quarterback got what he deserved. Lol. Let's see. Trent says, I played defensive lineman in high school, and I got yelled at by the refs quite a few times for shoving after the play was over. Because you understand, you're on the field. College is more intense. I will tell you this than high school. High school is intense. College is intense because you're playing in front of larger crowds. Some of these guys are playing to get pro contracts or get drafted, but you have this adrenaline. You're in this dome. I always tell people that is so conclusive to being your own little universe that you don't really know anything else that's going around you more than 3 to 4 yards. And so when you have this hype, you have this energy, you have this bravado, then you put it in with the adrenaline and the force of contact. Yeah, sometimes people get shoved. Sometimes shit happens. Don't know what's about all the Mayfields on off the field antics. I don't disagree. I would like to tell you I disagree about it and just say that like I said, if you want to say there's collusion, don't know. I think there's collusion. Thank you for following me on. There's collusion. I agree. I think there is. I think the NFL loaders and some people colluded to keep Shedeur Sanders down to a lower frame, so the fact that he could just learn his lesson. I think there was collusion on Colin Kaepernick. You can disagree or agree with Colin Kaepernick's political views. I didn't agree with him. But if someone asked me, was there collusion? Yeah. You can agree or disagree with Tim Tebow and bringing religion into the NFL. You could agree with or disagree with that, but I agree there was collusion. Corey Black's undrafted free agent, skinny, slight of build, ball hawk type quarterback, rational third back down, and special team player. Corey Black was an undrafted free agent, but he's the 7th round. And he's a guy that he's more also of a press cover corner again, and he's very susceptible to the first move. Watch some of the film. At least he's not going to run out of bounds like Eric Gray goes. Can we finally get rid of Eric Gray? Is it possible to finally get rid of Eric Gray? I am waiting for the Giants rookie symposium. Because I've said it before. When I'm bigger than Eric Gray, in reference to size, chest, shoulders, arms, we have a problem. I said that the minute we drafted the Gray Ghost. When I am physically bigger at 50 plus than this guy who was going to be the backup to Saquon Barkley, I got some issues. So I can't wait to meet Cam, because I have a feeling Cam is going to be a lot larger than I am. Can we just get rid of the Gray Ghost, please? We already got that. Once I trucked my fullback and sent him in unblocked him as a tackle, he got caught. Oh, yeah, I mean, it happens. Dennis says, I love your Madden ratings, Tim. These aren't Madden ratings. Madden ratings are stupid. I'm going to tell you why Madden ratings are stupid. The Tribune offices, EA offices, I think they still are. We're in Longwood, Florida. And I actually worked as a tester for 2 seasons early on, because they wanted people with experience, not only in the NFL, but also, in college. I worked as a tester in testing the nuances of video games, trying to find the bugs, did that for 2 years. And the ranking systems, and I don't know, maybe it's changed. The way they used to do it was they would have all these guys that pretty much never played football sit in a room and they would go through these rankings. I don't know, maybe it's changed now. Gray and Singletary won't make the final 53. Singletary will make the final 53 because he's got a $6 million cap number against a $6 million dead cap hit. My dad said he's going to watch the Giants again now that they drafted a bunch of favorite college players. He's really high on Skattebo, Carter, and Darius Alexander. I agree. I love when people want me to say something negative. I agree. Carter, to me, doesn't make sense for the Giants because you traded assets for Brian Burns and gave him $120 million. You drafted Kayvon Thibodeau 3 seasons ago, going on 4 seasons ago. Now you picked up a $16 million option. You got about a $20 million number against, or actually 25 plus with Dexter Lawrence. So you could have $60 million tied up into the defensive line next year, not this year, but the following year. And you have 3 guys that potentially can't play the run. I think that Carter is going to be an impact player in reference to going after the quarterback. Said that a million times before. He is not a stand-up linebacker. He has limited experience in coverage in college. Outside of the 2 years he played off-the-ball linebacker, and actually didn't play terribly, but also did not play to the expectations of a Parsons. His 2 seasons as an off-the-ball linebacker, his total tackles equaled Parsons' last season at Penn State. but he's an explosive player. He can go after the ball carrier. He's going to be used as a designated pass rusher. He's going to be used like an Azeez Ojulari, but be on the field a little bit more. And hopefully that causes if Shane, it's if I hate the ifs of Shane Bowen. It's if Shane Bowen can develop a system that allows him to be successful. And I know I know some fans don't want to talk about systems because it's just about drafting the player. Abdul Carter is the next LT. Jackson Dart is going to be the new Josh Allen, according to the Giants homers. Yeah. I don't abdicate violence. Oh, yes, I do. I believe in swift and blinding violence. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. But you can slap the taste out of anyone that says Carter's going to be the next LT. Not even close. LT could not only tackle, he could cover, he could run down ball carriers from behind, he could singularly destroy a game plan and get to the quarterback. That's not Abdul Carter. That's not a slight against Abdul Carter. James says, well, the Giants made a big mistake by not taking Sanders at 3. The two main reasons are, first, this team's ownership is heartily racist. The second is this team does not check players' talent level. I don't think they're racist. I don't think they're inherently racist. I just think that there are some issues a little bit sometimes. Pimp Nate's look back my little brother thinks Carter is going to be elite one day. I don't think Robert says, I just have a feeling that Dable and Shane will be fired this year, and that'll be the cycle of the second-year quarterback with a new regime, basically like most of the other bad teams. Robert, I said this all day yesterday on the live stream. What if you go 0-8 and you fire Dable on? I still think Dable's getting fired on Thanksgiving. What if you go 0-8 and fire Dable on Thanksgiving? Which then means more likely you're firing the GM at the end of the season. So you're gonna have to find a GM and a head coach that think that have to come in here and say, I can win with Jackson Dart. What does that sound like? And I love it. Todd McShay. Someone sent me the Todd McShay clip. It was Swing Culture. And Todd McShay is like, Brian Dable is a genius with quarterbacks. Just look at Josh Allen. Okay. What has Brian Dable done with any other quarterback in college, in the NFL outside of Josh Allen? What has he done? What has he done? He coached Chad Pennington, what's his name? Kellen Clements and Brett Favre at one point in time. I mean, this is a guy that does not have an actual track. I've said this before. I think that I could coach Josh Allen. Josh, go out and throw a touchdown. Look, he threw a touchdown. I told him to do that. Dable hasn't shown us anything in 3 seasons, but all of a sudden now he's going to be the quarterback whisperer again. We got the big old super job for Jefferson. Anyone remember when we drafted Dexter and reached a quarterback named Daniel Jones? This is a little field reminiscence of that. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Well, you got it reversed, so technically you're wrong. That helps you any. Because we took Dexter Lawrence behind Daniel Jones, so this is kind of, we took Abdul Carter ahead of the quarterback. So, there are so many Jackson Dart, Daniel Jones tendencies and comparisons. Like, it should be frightening for anyone. I agree. That I agree with. There are too many tendencies. And like I said, when you read his full scouting report and breakdown, going back to, like I said, a week after the NFL season, he was projected to be anywhere between Bo Nix and Christian Ponder. So I mean, I love this one guy. He is a rhythm-based passer with the tools to develop into a solid NFL quarterback. He will thrive in a spread offense centered around RPOs and vertical shots. Without standout physical traits, Jackson Dart will depend on his ability to refine his move in pocket and maximize his time in anticipation. He may not have a high ceiling, but his decisive, steady play will give him the path to being a quality backup or a potential low-end starter. These are people right after they watched him play for 13 weeks. Yes, he had a better statistical season than Daniel Jones, but yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. There are some Daniel Jones comparisons. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you at all. Giants already said that. Yeah, Giants already said they're picking up the fifth year option. Or what's up, RF? What's up, RVFD? As far as the draft goes, day one, Carter is a B plus. There is a potential, but has many after a pit options. Dart is a C minus. I actually give. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I still would potentially give Carter a first day grade. If you look at Carter physically, he's not compared to Jackson Dart, he's not that imposing. But if you look at Carter's a potential ability to be a disruptive force as a pass rusher, if you were a team with a need of a pass rusher, which evidently we have two, you would still give this pick an A. I actually think you're being nice on the Dart pick. I give it a D because he is a guy that's coming in here that's going to sit a year and hopefully he's going to learn. And I just don't think he's going to be ready to play in the NFL. The Giants already said they're. Oh, we got to that one. Todd says one thing I want to see is drafting a quarterback high in 2027. Dart looks wobbly. No more letting quarterbacks face no competition. Well, Jackson Dart technically has competition because he's got he's got Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. Russell Danger Wilson. Russell Wilson was at the draft party. And I just laugh because I look at Russell Wilson. I'm like, you're an NFL quarterback? Wandale played before he transferred to Kentucky. Okay, but did he play with Jackson Dart? I don't think he played with Jackson Dart. The rest of the draft, I give an A minus. Our third rounder, defensive tackle Skattebo looked great. OG is highly ranked. Another athletic tight end and a decent 7-round quarter. I can't. Tight end, two ACL injuries, 2 years in a row. Not a very good inline blocker. Slight of build. Not going to be a blocker at all. Is going to be a pass catching tight end. Maybe Caden Smith. And the quarterback should have been an undrafted free agent. How so? You have 12,000, but they are loyal. I think 12,000 is a lot. I love when people are like, you only have 12,000. That's a lot. I see some of these giant channels that have been around like 10 years and they have like 4,000. I think 12,000 is a lot. I think that's too many. I need to offend some people. Jackson Dart will be a beast. I hope he is. I hope to God he is a beast. You know what I want to see? Hold on a minute. Let's see here. I want to go back to media assets because if you do this, all right, watch that. Okay. And if I do this, hold on. Wait a minute. We're going to work the camera too. People trying to make me professional. What the hell is that about? I don't want to be professional. I don't want to be professional. Oh, I like that. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I like that now. Okay. Maybe I like that now. I don't want to be professional. I want to be me. Stop putting me in a box, man. Don't put baby in a corner. I kind of do like that, though. But I think I'm going to have them move over the things so it kind of goes to the sidelines more so it doesn't. I'm one of these people that has kind of OCD when it comes to certain things. And that kind of bugs me, kind of bugs me a little bit. Let's see here. Allegedly, Sanders didn't bother with the install packages. Dable got annoyed. Sanders got annoyed, and Babel spoke to him about it. I feel like he'll be relatively accurate considering he's passed. You have the most accurate passer in college football last season at 72%. This kid is surgical from 15 to 35 yards. And he's going to be fine. Now, listen, I understand the process. Dable wants to ask the questions. Dable wants to know if he could do certain things. If he didn't interview well, it's his own damn fault. Can we stop? Okay. All right, we'll go to the next comment. Sorry, Joey. Can we stop with the Giants are a racist organization for not drafting a black quarterback? As per Ren and Stippy, commentators like to say they were offering a trove of picks for Ward. But they didn't get him. So it doesn't matter, does it? Darius Alexander will be better than Emerson Smith projected. Yeah, I do remember Emerson Smith. I remember Emerson Smith very well. I remember standing on the sideline looking at Emerson Smith going, I don't get it. So I mean, that's not saying much though. He's gonna be better than Emerson Smith. And I love because people are like, well, how do you see these players so closely? Okay, well, this is where I sit a lot of the times. This is where I'm at most of this is where when I go to the games, this is where I'm at. So I can literally see like people, like everybody. So I mean that's why I love when people ask me that question. Oh, but see, then the media asset blinks off when I do that. I gotta have them teach me how to do this shit. Okay, there we go. Because there's got to be a way to put a branding asset above another asset. I don't know how to do that. So don't ask me to do it. I don't know how to do it. This thing is too complicated. Where were we at here? Hey, Tim Petro, how are you doing, my brother? Let's see here. Skattebo is an inch shorter and 5 pounds heavier. You're lucky he plays like a dog, unlike Gray. Uh, yeah, I told you. I should, after showing you guys the picture of me standing next to Eric Gray, which one's the NFL running back? Which one's the NFL running back? Big Blue for Life says, smash that like button. Misha says, how else would the Browns not here would be here in the 5th round collusion? What's up, Off Broadway? What's up, G-Man family? Eric Gray and Paul Perkins were both wasted picks. Admit it, people. Come on. I admit it. I hated the Eric Gray pick. I never saw Eric Gray getting out behind into the second level. He surprised me being a pass catcher. And like I said, Cam Skattebo is a bowling ball back. Now, he's only 5'9", 200 and something pounds, but he runs the rock with force. He is decisive when he hits the hole.
That's what she said.
He knows he has good vision. He's going to get through the first level, but he doesn't have a second gear. And that's not me being mean. He doesn't. He reminds me of my 79 Buick. My 79 Buick, when you got it rolling downhill, it was unstoppable. But then when you got to a certain point, it just never gained any more speed. He's going to get pulled down from behind. He's probably going to, his longest runs are, if anything, unless he uses power, it's going to be 15 to 20 yards. It's going to be more predictable for the Giant offense because while Cam can catch the ball, he's not a prototypical third down back. So when he's in the game, more than likely defenses are going to be calling run. So, but that's just who he is. That's why he was, if I mean, if you want to think about it, that's why he was taken 105th. It's not like this kid was taken 30th, 40th. He was taken 105th for a reason. Yes, of course. Solid draft. B. Will says, solid draft on paper. Didn't agree with Dart, but if you believe in him, I'm fine taking a shot. Just don't double down on mediocrity. Don't sit there forever and double down on mediocrity. I think that's going to be the key point. Oh, we got Don with the super sticker. Oh, we love the super stickers. Love the super stickers. Always love super stickers. Thank you, Big Don, as always. Hope you're doing well today. Just another Pleasant Valley Sunday. Let's see here. I got to the Petro. We got to the draft shorter. Dan the Man says Paul Perkins took at the time was a running back, was dreads working in the league around the league. I feel like that was their only logic. Paul Perkins was just as bad. So Petro says, and just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
That's when I thought I was out. They pull me back in.
Petro says, which team do you think won the draft? I think the Cleveland Browns did. I really do. I think the Giants had a good draft. I give the Giants a solid C+. C+. I give the Giants a solid B+. But I think if you take a look who won the draft, I say the Cleveland Browns at the end of the day. I know the Giants aren't an attractive spot, but I think there are some new pieces on defense. We'll hopefully get a pretty good DC. I am concerned. And I am befuddled because of the fact that the way the Giants are taking players in their free agency, none of them fit. Outside of Holland, none of them fit what Shane Bowen does. Go look at his 5 seasons in Tennessee. Look at last year. None of them fit. They don't fit a system. You drafted a guy in Banks as a press cover corner. You try to make him play in the soft zone, and you wonder why he didn't exceed. didn't matter that you had poor safety play at times from Pinnock, Dane Belton, and Tyler Newman. You go out and get Paulson Adebo, give him 54, 36 guaranteed. He's a press cover corner. Doesn't make sense. You have no second-level linebackers outside of Bobby Okereke. Micah McFadden, there's never been a tackle he didn't want to miss. You're going to try to put either Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, or Abdul Carter as a stand-up linebacker on a 3-4, and if you rush, that's great, but none of them play the run extremely well. You have a mixture of talent with a defensive coordinator. They don't fit. If you had a Steve Wilkes or a Wink Martindale, this would all make sense. You do what the Eagles did. You generate the rush with 4. You have quality linebackers. And if you don't, you disguise the poor linebacker play with your man-to-man defense on the outside with your corners. That makes sense. It just doesn't make sense with Shane Bowen. History always repeats itself, sometimes a little faster with bad teams and bad situations. Let's see. Alton says, what if they drafted Shedeur at 3 and got fired? That's worse? No. Getting fired is worst either way. See, here's the thing. You're not telling me things. Let's say you take Shedeur at 3 and you get fired. Okay. You take Jack Stewart. You traded up to get, and you want to know which is worse. You traded up. You traded assets to go back in to get 25th. I am going to say this now. And this was an easy thing to kind of research. The Rams weren't taking Jackson Dart. The Rams are in a 2-year win now mode with Matthew Stafford. They still have Super Bowl aspirations. You take talent to help Stafford. You don't take Stafford's replacement at 26. How many quarterbacks did the Rams take in this draft? Just asking for a friend. You don't do that. You go on the LA newspapers. You listen to the LA talk shows. You do some research. They all said the same thing. He wasn't going to the Rams. McVay is always one game away from retiring. So you're not going to go out like that. You're going to try to find the pieces to push Matthew Stafford or drag his old ass over to the Super Bowl. Pro-Tax, what's up? When Sanders flames out in Cleveland, will everyone react to this comment about the Giants being racist? I mean, if the Giants are racist, then so every other team was for the most 5 rounds. I don't think it was racism. I think they were just putting Sanders in his place. He didn't follow NFL protocol. He didn't bow down to the powers that be. He played at his own game and he lost. He lost millions for doing it. I don't understand why people sell it. When DeAndre Baker flamed out with the Giants, and I called him, baby Nino Brown of the NFL, and he flamed out. When he left, I wished him well. People were like, well, how can you wish him well? Well, real easy. He's a kid. He's still a person. Just because he sucked at being a football player and he didn't choose to be with the Giants, I wished him well. Because you always wish someone else success if they go someplace else. So I wish Shedeur Sanders well. You can like him, you can hate him for whatever reason, but he's still a person at the end of the day, and you still want people to succeed. People that I hate in the Giant YouTube community, I don't wish them well. David says, new GM would relegate Dart to the backup, pick up Archie Manning. The first interview question is, who would you want to bring first? Archie Manning, B? That's a good question. Not if it's Joe Shane. Joe Shane in the big meeting. So Shane Bowen, what do you need to make your defense successful? I need a defensive tackle and 2 linebackers. What about Brian Burns? Hopefully it's not Joe Shane. Dex is my favorite Giant. I love Dex. Think he's a good player. 997. Jimmy says, I'm hearing stories that Shane was sold on Sanders and Dable was obsessed with Dart. We may see Joe back away from Dable if Dart doesn't show out. Listen, if the Giants start winning, not consistent, let's say they win 6 games, And let's just say there is a fallout between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston does what he does, and they start Jackson Dart, and Jackson Dart doesn't play well, and Dable gets fired. I could literally see Joe Shane still staying and picking a guy and getting away from this philosophy of listening to Brian Dable. I could see that. Trent says you Dart won't play this year unless the Giants start 0-6 or something. Well, that's a possibility. Dable said he told him, I look forward to developing you. If you don't think the quarterback that he took is ready, you might as well throw him at you might as well throw an iPad at him. Tim, I usually agree with you, but this draft did not make. I don't think it made the Giants better. Giants are a 5-win team. Joe did damage to the future of this team. D plus. I don't think this draft makes them more than a 5 to 6 win team. But if you're looking at it on paper, if you're looking at it literally, I mean, you look at it on paper, Joe Rev, Abdul Carter as a pass rusher is an impact player. He's not going to do much else. It doesn't make sense to take a guy that's going to be a package guy at 3. But if he can develop into a somewhat reliable linebacker and uses athleticism, he's always going to be an impact pass rusher. I don't like the Jackson Dart pick. I give that a D-. Darius Alexander, yes, he was a 13th overall. He was a 13th defensive tackle taken at the 65th pick. He's a little bit older. So his body, that's the thing. When you draft a kid that's like 20, 21, you're still developing your body. And you could still gain weight and do this. I think Darius Alexander, who's a little bit more advanced age for an NFL prospect, is what he is. He's not going to get bigger than 305. But as a positional value, as a defensive tackle for a position of need, running along Dexter Lawrence, for a guy that is not going to play the run as well as he is going to rush the passer, if you are going to a 4-3 pass rush style defense, he makes sense. That's why I keep trying to explain to people, you got to fit the scheme. And I still love people on Twitter and in the comment section, well, you don't need to fit the scheme. Why do you say stupid shit like that? Because you don't draft a pitcher to play center in hockey because it doesn't fit. So if the players don't fit the scheme, it doesn't matter. I think Cam Skattebo is what he is. He's going to be a 2-down back. He is a compliment. I've said I would prefer Caleb Johnson, but Cam Skattebo is a 2-down back that is going to be a bruiser and hopefully soften the interior of the defense for Tyrone Tracy, which in turn may help eliminate his fumbles because he'll get faster through the second level. I will tell you this: if you ever played football in any capacity and played defense and played especially in a linebacker or defensive line, if someone keeps repeatedly running into the brick wall, which is your defensive line, but continues with force and continues to go through it, that brick wall slowly starts to crack. And then when you have an explosion like a Tyrone Tracy, you go through the wall. Cam is that setup back. Marcus Bowe at 154, good positional value in reference to where he was drafted. Overall talent, I'm not that high on because he's more of a pass blocker than he's going to be a road paver. But he's going to be able to play 2 positions in guard and tackle and what you need. And he's probably better than some of the depth we have on this team now. I think the tight end was a mistake, and I think Corey Black was an undrafted free agent. Let's see. If the Giants goes 0-6 and Shane Day will be gone at the end. Oh, yeah, he'll be gone. They'll be fired. They're going to be fired by what you call it. They will be fired by Thanksgiving. Sir Tim, or New Jersey. Sir Tim of New Jersey. Actually, Pennsylvania. Let's see here. Korean Trump supporter says, really a shame some guys are wanting the new quarterback to fail. I don't think anybody wants the kid to fail. This is what I love. This is what I love about this. Everyone, all my haters always say, well, you like Malik Willis. Yeah, I also said Malik Willis needs to sit a year, and I would not have taken him in the first round. But I also said Malik Willis needs to sit a year. But no one ever wanted to listen to that. So everyone always hates on me on that. But they never bring up the fact that I was right for 5 years on Daniel Jones. They want to focus on one thing, and they just want to hate that one thing. And that's what I think some people are doing with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart reminds a lot of people too much of Daniel Jones. My problem is with Jackson Dart is from a football perspective, about what the way you watched him play at Ole Miss and how he ran a simplistic offense in regards to the fact that Lane Kiffin, God bless his soul, has been able to use certain players in the quarterback position that probably weren't that proficient by Daniel Jones in it, cutting the field in half. I love it because every play that people highlight with Jackson Dart, it's a rollout. You roll your quarterback out, cut the field in half, give him two options or one read, and the second option is the run. So if you go by what he did in college, by actually watching him play, you have massive concerns. And then the fact that you traded multiple assets and another pick next year to go get him, yes, you have concerns. Russ and Winnie won't be here in 2027. Nope, they won't. 12,000 is awesome. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. It's like I don't want to. Don't forget the like button, guys. I always tell people I don't want any more friends. When you get to a certain age in life, you don't want any more friends. Friends are complicated. When we crossed over from 11 to 12, I was like, fuck. Why, Lord, why? But I appreciate everybody. There were some really nice comments today. Some people defending me against morons. And you don't need to defend me. I appreciate people defending me. I really do. Defending me in the comment section, but you don't need to do that. They're morons. And they're morons for a reason. So, it's all good. But I do appreciate it, though. Hit the like button, guys. Do it, Petro says, or I'm going to be upset. Dart has worse tape than Daniel Jones. He throws with a slow, long throwing motion. I disagree with that. His tape does remind me of Daniel Jones, but he is more. Jackson Dart threw 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, almost completing 70% of his passes. That's something that Daniel Jones never did. He's a spread offense guy. But like I said, he is going to be a guy that right now, if you look at his ability to read the defenses, he's going to struggle at times because of the fact of the system that he played in. He played in a half the field offense where he didn't need to make pre-snap reads as much. Now, the problem is also if you watch Jackson Dart, and it's, again, could it be the product of the system? He struggles to make post-snap reads, and he locks onto his primary receivers quite a bit, and he passes up a lot of easier throws, which usually naturally leads you holding on the ball longer. So the question is going to be, was that the dictation of Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss? That you throw to the, like Shermer did with Jones, you throw to the spot I tell you to throw to. So can he read a full NFL field? I don't know. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen training camp yet. And like I said, we've said it before, his completion rate in the fourth quarter is under 60% last year. He was off target 15% times during the fourth quarter, and he was consistent about that over his entire career at 61.1% or 60.1% with an off target rate of 12.4. And like I said, he threw 0 game-winning touchdowns and led the Rebels to winning drives or scores in the fourth quarter twice in 3 years. And he had that horrific Florida game where technically he threw 3 interceptions, even though only 2 were counted for, so because 1 came back. So I can't tell you. This is why some fans on other teams say Giant fans sucks. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Giant fans always get to vote the most ignorant or stupidest fans. There really is. 12,000s aren't loyal. We're a cult. Lol, they hate us because we ain't us. That's right. You need to be something special to be part of this family. You got to have the chops to be part of OBB. Because you got to remember, everyone will tell you, I remember everything. I remember people's birthdays. I know where people went to college. We had one guy, Saeed, when he was going to, I don't want to say where he went to school, but he used to say, and I used to yell at him because he would listen to me, and I knew he was supposed to be in class. And I told him once in the live stream, turn off your fucking phone and get to class. You got an exam on Thursday. Same with Zach Attack. I've watched people go through college, get jobs, and I know all about them. I'm always watching you. It's not just about sports and just not just about football. How many people do I hang out with after the show ends that I've met during the show? So you have to be not only an intelligent football Giant fan, you have to pass the test that I like you. And I had to go through 12,200 whatever people we got. So true, says Trenton. So true. I don't even like Trenton. He's an Eagle fan. Oh, I love Trenton. I love Trenton, right? I love you, brother. Oh, Emerson Smith. That was a big buzz. Big Greg in his house. Let's see. And John Gruden in a video about Dart. I loved him. Oh, John Gruden basically went off on Dart a couple times in that video. You watch that video, you get a little leery, like. Let's see. Off Broadway. Say, did you see Cam Skattebo throw up from his concussion in the Texas game with that past season? He's tough and crazy. Yeah, I like tough and crazy because that's me. We were talking about it on Sunday. When you were a kid in the 80s, you broke your arm. You still played for like another hour before you went and told your mom because you didn't want to miss anything. We used to run, and I told the story a little bit the other day. We used to have this, not my yard, my friend's yard. They used to have like this 7-foot solid fence, wooden fence. And what we would do is we would set up the cone as the end zone, and the fence would be the back of the end zone. Now the key was you would run as fast as you can at the end zone, and someone would throw you an over the shoulder pass. And what you were supposed to do is see who could catch it and run into the fence and still hold on to the ball. That's what you did in the 80s. Well, that's just what we did. And Cam reminds me of that. Reminds me of Mike Allstott. No, he doesn't remind me of Mike Allstott. I can't give you that one. I met Mike Allstott. I was part of the organization when Mike Allstott was there. The A Train was the A Train had a second gear. He was a little bit, he was going to punish you, but he was going to get you a little bit more extra yards downfield. He was also a guy that was, he does remind me of Mike Allstott in regards to the fact the way he catches the ball. Mike Allstott, people forget, had 305 receptions for 284 yards. And 13 touchdowns as a wide receiver. The problem with Mike Allstott is he was paired with Warwick Dunn. So there was a lot of splitting of the carries. So Mike never got to show a true progression outside of his season in 2001 where he had 10 touchdowns, 680 yards. And of course, he did run for over 900 yards in 1990. This is a guy who was a Pro Bowler, 7 times in a row. Like I said, good guy, but he's not Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott also, people forget, was 6'1", 6'2", 248, almost 250 pounds. Bruiser is the word for Mike Allstott. He's not a Brandon Jacobs. Cam is more of a bowling ball back, which is fine because bowling balls knock down pins. Oh, Dan the Man says they literally might be the only good part of The Godfather 3. That literally was the only good part. Sophia Copeland directing that film. I still never got that. Man, the Browns taking Gabriel and then drafting Sanders doesn't make any sense. Who are the quarterbacks at the Browns? Who's the quarterback on the Browns? Joe Flacco, at 479 years old. Deshaun, there's not a masseuse I didn't want to harass. Watson. You potentially got a backup quarterback and a starting quarterback in the same draft. So Browns definitely failed draft, in my opinion. It's okay. It's everyone's opinion. What's up, Zach Attack? Where I'm coming, you're not in school. Zach Attack, at this point, it would make more sense to fire Shane Bowen. It really would make more sense to fire Shane Bowen. Actually, Korean Trump supporter, I want to break the news to you. Most people give them an A. But okay. Be smart. Let's see here. Steve Barkley says Dable will be fired by Thanksgiving. Merritt will keep Joe based off his draft, even though we should be gone. 1 out of 4 isn't bad, right? Here's the thing with Joe Shane. If this last year's draft progresses and not regresses, Joe Shane will be back year 5. Doesn't mean Brian Dable will. But if the draft class for 2024 continuously shows promise, then they're fine. Yes, they were. Korean Trump supporter, goodbye.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I can't abide. I can't abide by stupid. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. A bit racism, Tim. What's bit racism? Let's see here. Where are we at? Being a party pooper. Never a party pooper. Just tell him the truth. Tell him like it is. He does not remind me of Michael Stott. We got that one. Let's see here. Let's see here. Browns don't believe it. A bit of racism, Tim. What's a bit of racism? I'm very confused. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Giants don't believe in Jackson Dart. If they did, they wouldn't have taken him at 3. You don't waste assets if you trust your quarterback. Okay, now I understand. Greg, I said legit. Remember, you wanted to take Hunter and then trading up to get Sanders. Now you don't want to waste the assets? Well, you guys talk amongst yourselves. DeAndre Breaker, DC Defender Legend. Stu also says they could have gotten Dart at 34. They could have gotten Dart at 34. They could have. Let's be honest. The Rams, like I said, just do a little research. Do a little research. Go listen to sports talk in LA. Read the papers. They all say the same thing. McVay wants to win now. Jackson Dart at 26 does not allow you to win now. And I keep asking people, how many quarterbacks did the LA Rams draft? How many? Does anyone know? Because it's kind of easy to figure out. I mean, I don't know what else to tell people. They took a tight end, which they needed in the second round. They took an edge rusher, which they need. They took a running back, which they need, and they took a defensive tackle and another linebacker and a wide receiver, which they need. Tank for Arch. Nino Brown was classic. That was a great cover, the Nino Brown one. Yeah, Tim, I agree with you. I don't think it's racism. They took Cam Ward at 1, and Milton's got taken over him as well. I think it's more of the fact that he's thinking he's bigger than any team. He thinks he's big. I don't think it's racism with Shedeur Sanders. He thinks he's just bigger than the team. It's like Lorenzo Ball. Basketball is different, though. That was more of his father as well, but he still got drafted in the first round. It's more of the fact that he thought he was bigger than the NFL system of evaluating players. No, I don't want Jalen Ramsey. No. According to Rob Zero B, Jackson Dart is Joe Montana. I love when people go on the Twitter spaces because it's a scary fucking place. The Twitter spaces for the Giants, I went on a couple of them. It's a fucking black hole. It literally is a black hole. You stay out of the black hole. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you get dumber just by going in there. If the Giants land in the top 5 again next year, they should draft another quarterback. If Dart stinks, if he plays, yeah, do what Arizona did. Get rid of Josh Rosen and then get. I think they still got a second round pick for Josh Rosen, and then take Kyler Murray. Personally, I have nothing against Sanders, and you would have 1,000% support him, but just get tired of the BS racist narrative. Like I said, I don't think it has to do with racism with Shedeur Sanders. I really don't. I think it has to do with more, like I said, more of the fact that he tried to buck the entire NFL process for evaluating prospects. And the powers that be in the NFL said to him, you. Yeah, that's a more ominous voice. You shall not pass. Sorry, it was said to him.
You shall now fall in this draft.
That's what I think happened. I don't get why Eagles drafted McCord even as a backup. He plays exactly the opposite. I didn't understand. I think McCord's a good quarterback, but I don't understand why you guys drafted McCord either, to be honest. I booked a trip November 2nd, weekend in November. Let's catch a game. Greg's homecoming. Done. Text me. Well, I don't think you have my number, but call me, text me, send me an email, tell me when you're coming in. I'll go. I'll round up the crew. I will round up the crew. Why is that we got a tight end in every draft? I don't know. Same reason we drafted a lineman in every draft. Carter can't engage off in tackles. He just attacks and doesn't shed. We all hold the point of a stretch. He's going to be kicked out, and when he's overcompensated, he's going to get hooked. I know I said the same thing, Dennis. Here's the problem when you use the dip, when you use your power spin, when you use your power move in the NFL. You're going to dip your shoulder. You're going to try it like you did in college. We've showed the video. I got in trouble for playing it. You're going to dip your shoulder. You're going to go through, and you're going to try to speed rush around. But the problem is you are 100% right. When you do that, a smart offensive lineman is going to push you wide. He's going to push you to the sideline. And then if you try to hook it back in, if you try to come straight, swim it back inside, you're going to get hooked. So you're going to have, initially his speed is going to be a issue. Because anytime NFL teams do not have full complement of film on a player, it makes it more difficult to judge what you're going to do with that player and how you're going to stop that player. So he is going to use, hopefully they use the speed to his advantage. Later in the season, it's not going to be up as much as of an advantage if he doesn't figure out another move. It's going to be Kayvon Thibodeau. For years, everyone figured, you know what you do with Kayvon Thibodeau in speed rush? You take him wide. Make him loop around to get to the quarterback. By the time he gets there, it's gone. And if he goes that far wide, you just run off tackle. So you hope he understands. I want to see him develop a little bit of a stutter step. I want to see him come off the line, and instead of always just using that speed move, do a little stutter step and try to cut it back inside. But we haven't even started yet. Hurts is an RPO athletic monster, while McCoy is a pure pocket passer. So he doesn't fit. He really doesn't fit at all. We're not friends in the chat. We're all business associates. I like that one a lot. Dennis, the defensive and defensive tackle is going to get mauled by the Eagles and the Skins O-line. An undersized offense. Here's my issue. Here's the issue. And if you want to look at this from a football logical sense, the Eagles built a wall. The Redskins, and I'm going to call them the Redskins, built a wall on the offensive line. Cowboys have had a wall for years. You go with a faster, undersized defensive line outside of Dexter Lawrence, you're going to get pushed around. Your speed is only going to work so far, and your speed can easily be negated with a draw, with a quick screen, with a quick out. So that's why you're going to have to develop exotic blitz packages. I don't know if Shane Bowen can do that. You have the capability, like I said, if it was Wink, if it was Steve Wilkes or something like that, yeah, you could develop that. Mr. Alva says, I've also said it before. I saw something that Dart plays wing T most of his time in high school, and not only played in a pro style concept in USC for half a year in high school, so it'll be a major project. That's why he's going to sit. Exactly. Jackson Dart says the quarterback school Jordan sitting down with Dart told him where to throw the ball, and he was not allowed to audible at the line. I did see it. Another person said it to me as well. And the quarterback school of Gruden sitting down. We already read that twice. It's a 2 for 2. Is that Mr. Taz? What's up, Mr. Taz? To be fair, you don't need to be a Giant fan to enjoy the show. I'm a Philly too much charging basketball and hockey. Well, that's what I try to do, Mr. Taz. I appreciate that. I try to always tell people. I try to have people just, even if you don't, I love one of the meaner comments I got the other day. I get some nasty comments. And now that the show is getting more and more popular, more and more views, the comments are getting more fucking vile. And I love these people because I told one guy yesterday, I was like, I'm done with you. I said I park at F8 every home game. Can't miss me. Done with you. You want to say your shit to my face? Come say it to my face. But now that, we try to have fun. We don't always try to talk about football. We try to talk about the Giants, try to talk about baseball, try to talk about, the Eagles, try to talk about anything else. And we just try to have fun in general. Great. Speaking about fun in general, if you want to hear a really good podcast called Get Off of My Lawn, the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer, there's a great episode that came out today about the TV show The Last of Us, season 2, episode 3. Talked about, did HBO Max kill the golden goose by killing Joel? Great episode. Great guy that does it. Has a very melodious voice. I love one person, they go, why don't you he just needs to stop with the funny voices and tell us about football. It's called entertainment. At least I think it's entertaining. But I amuse myself. So, what do we got? Stu says, did you hear that Abdul asked to wear number 56? Yeah, and Carter asked that, and Taylor says no.
Thou shalt not pass.
Too much of a statue, not built for the type of offense. I think the Giants will want to run. You know what's funny with Kyle McCord is? Kyle McCord, to your point, is a true pocket passer. He is a kid that has an understanding of the downfield philosophy, and he's not an RPO quarterback. I don't understand why the Eagles took him. We've said this on the show a million times. Most NFL teams want to have their mirror back up what their starter does. So at times, if the starter goes down, you don't lose anything in your offense. I think the Eagles lost a lot when they went after and got Kenny Pickett. I personally thought Jalen Milroe was going to go to the Eagles. That to me was Jalen Milroe the Eagles was a perfect fit. But what do I know? Do you think Tracy is the better running back? Oh, between Cam Skattebo and Tyrone Tracy? Oh no, it's Cam. Tyrone Tracy played running back for 1 year. Cam's been playing running back his whole life. It's the Skattebo. It's the Skattebo, baby. He's a better, and that's not a slight against Tyrone Tracy, but how many times does Tyrone Tracy, that's just what he does. So yeah, I gotta give him. But Tyrone Tracy can do more than Cam Skattebo. Tyrone Tracy is going to catch the ball and give you more of an opportunity to get downfield. And you better have a very accurate. Here's the two things that bug me about Cam the most, about the Skattebo. The turnovers. He's got to learn to secure the ball better. If he doesn't secure the ball better on this level, he's going to get that sucker punched out every week. You better have Russell Wilson in the short passing games is an accurate quarterback, but you better have an accurate quarterback with this kid. Because, like I said, while he can catch the ball, he has a limited catch ratio. He's got a little radius, I should say ratio. He's got a limited catch radius. He doesn't, because of the fact that he's not a speed guy. So it's going to be easier to cover coming out. A linebacker is going to be able to easily cover Cam Skattebo out of the backfield. So he's going to have a shorter catch ratio, radius. Why do I keep saying fucking ratio? Radius. So you're going to have to make sure that you get in there and get in the right position for him to make the catch. Mr. Taz says, we don't hate the Hurts pick. At least I was confused by it. Oh, I love the Hurts picks that you had. I mean, I argued with Bad Dog about the Hurts pick and I argued with him that Hurts was a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. I love the Hurts pick. I thought you guys got a steal with that. Talk was said, I thought the Giants had one of their better drives backed against the wall. You will see how it works out. Big Zo, what's up? I think the Giants had a good draft. I gave it a solid B+. I think scheme-wise, you're going to have some issues. And I think the Carter pick was a reach. But not the Carter pick. I said the Dart pick was a reach. I mean, you figured. And I also love it that didn't the Rams. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. Not going to get into it. I think Darius Alexander, like I said, is a good running mate for Dexter Lawrence. He does certain things that Dexter doesn't do, but he's also going to be a liability against the run. I think Cam is that perfect complementary 2-down back. I think Marcus Bowe is, like I said, Marcus Bowe to me, he's John Runyon, but he can play both guard and tackle. But he doesn't. I always find it funny that when offensive linemen don't excel at going forward, but their best skill set is going backwards and protecting the pass. I never understood that. But I think the other two, and I don't like any of the other two picks. So I gave it a solid B+. Stu says they hated the Donovan McNabb and they booed Santa and threw snowballs. So I mean, Philly's a tough town, man. I love Philly though. I worked on, like I said, everyone knows that I worked as a bouncer on South Street for years. And Mike Lee, the world traveler, who I love, but I miss Mike Lee not commenting on the show. But I actually, and we told the story before. It was a place called Who's on Third. I threw Mike Lee out. Mike Lee was there with these two women. And I actually remember it because they were starting a ruckus. These two women were starting a ruckus, and I threw Mike Lee and these two women out, and I literally had, and I didn't do it meanly, because there's always a nice way to do things. But I literally had Mike Lee by the back of the collar, and I'm dragging these two women out on my other arm. And I remember because Mike Lee says, "You worked at Who's on Third in South Street?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Did you used to wear all the time a black T-shirt, jeans, and Doc Martens?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my God." That's what he goes, "Oh my God, you threw me out." He goes, and then he told me the story. I'm like, "Oh my God, I actually literally remember that." But like I said, I used to love South Street, man. I used to love Philly. I used to love going, but all the clubs are gone now, like the Trocadero, and the Palladium. So Philly's a great town. Just don't go there at night. Sorry. Greg says Dallas has Dak, Philly has Hurts, Washington has Daniels, and we have Jackson Dart. Missing star power. What was all the guys nowadays wanting the great numbers? These guys haven't done anything, and they want special numbers. First neighbors now Abdul Kadir. I think Taylor said it the best way. Do something, create your own legacy. Greg says, if you email me, Tim, that's what I'll perceive to be. I'll email you, Tim, about what I perceive to be racist about the Sanders situation. Oh, okay, do that. Email me your cell phone, and I'll shoot you, Greg, and I'll shoot you mine. And so when you come in November, you can just text me. Look at that. I'm giving you my cell phone number. I always cringe a little when I give out my cell phone number. Yes. But I know Greg. I mean, Greg's been on the show I don't know how many times. I mean, like I said, when you first meet people, and like James Williams, James Williams is now my brother, and I met him. How did I meet James Williams? I met him through the show. James Williams has been to my house. We've hung out. It's the same thing with it's the same thing with the Dahmer. There's me and Dom. Dom flew all the way from the UK. And yes, Dom is that short. He flew all. And this is my other son. Didn't even know Dom. Flew all the way in from the UK just to come and hang out and do giant games with us. That's why I like my crew. That's why I like this crew. We got a good crew. Todd says, Mayor's a dope. He ate a bar of soap. Bubbles here, bubbles there, bubbles in his underwear. Oh, I said they will go 0-17, and we're coming back. Let's see. It kind of reminds me of those super fans that don't show up at the draft, clapping like seals over picks they are clueless about. Oh, I love people like that, Dan. People are like, every pick the Giants got is an A+. And I love one person that he wrote in the comment section, you know what your problem is? You're always negative. I went back for 2 years and watched all your videos and all negative. I was like, okay, 6-11, 3-14. 7 wins in 2 years. Show me the positive. Well, Jake says, remember when Joe Shane said that he couldn't?
What do you mean you can't miss it? I mean, people say I'm a genius, but how can you really miss a 5-7?
No, I don't remember that, Jake. Todd says, we're not playing dart unless they have to. Their insurance for next year. I agree. What happens when Carter loses his speed? It's not going to be good. But that's years down the road. That's a years going down the road. Let's see here. Robert says, once Shane and Dable are fired, we can trust Merritt to get the next hires right. Robert, I don't know who the hell you are, but I'm in love with Robert now. The track record says otherwise. Eric, what's up, Eric? 12,000 admirers of your unapologetic opinions. I think it's all of our unapologetic opinions. I don't think it's just mine. Like I said, I think the people that follow get football. And a lot of people that I talk to are not only Giant fans, they're NFL fans, which are the best fans to be. TJ says there's always 10 to 15 other starting quarterbacks you'd prefer over the Giants at any time. Yeah. You want me to be honest? Yeah. I don't want to go through them, but yeah. People need to shut the fuck up and watch your show. You like it, good. Keep watching. You don't, watch a different show. Not everyone's opinion needs to be heard. What's wrong with people? I don't know, Petro. People are mean. Don't worry, dude. Don't worry, guys. I can take it. I can sit there like Superman, just bounce that shit off. Don't matter to me. Oh, it doesn't matter. You want to know why it doesn't matter? Because it just doesn't matter. You get the show, you like the show, you watch it, you don't. I don't care. And that's like when people say, I watched your show and this. I tell people, well, fucking stop watching. You want an easy way not for me to annoy you? Don't watch. The Eagles don't need a quarterback. Take McCord, but allegedly we're after Dart. Don't even yes, flyer in the 7th rounder logic. Well, they weren't trading up back into the 1st round for Dart. I wish everyone would just, for the love of God, stop the nonsense. Go listen. And people are like, well, you're just saying that because you think you know everything. No, go. I listen to LA sports media for days. I read the LA papers. I listened to the LA pundits. No one was talking about, they were talking about getting him a running back and a tight end so they can have that second window for a Super Bowl before McVay retires, and same thing with Matthew. First 3 picks are black. One of the 6 for, I'm not going to get into the racism thing. I don't know. The vast majority of the NFL is black. It's not racist about Sanders not getting picked. It's not racist about Sanders not getting picked in the 1st round. Like I said, he tried to buck the system. He tried to take a look at the NFL system and said, I don't want to do it this way. I want to control where I want to go. And like I said, the NFL powers that be said, no, we're going to make sure that you don't get taken in the 1st round. You can't have a guy with a 1st round talent and grade for 2 years and all of a sudden just not take him. For Jet fans, understand no one ever has any Giant quarterback on their roster. Dart fits perfectly for the Giants. TJ, that was a good one. Let's see here. Dart, speaking of turnovers, Dart being sacked by Carter and fumbling is a great sign. John says, feels like every year we're drafting immediate starters and drafting the same position. Goes to show can't build a team. It does every year. Now we're drafting a starter to replace Kayvon Thibodeau, and we brought in a free agent to replace Banks. I have a limited cash radius. Okay. Oh, no money to go around. I keep saying ratio. I meant radius. I don't know. It's been a long day. And then I did the podcast today, so I mean I did the get off my lawn at 8 something. And then I wasn't going to jump on the mic today because we had a really good stream yesterday. But I was like, I miss everyone. Logic's fine. It says people want it to be racism because that's because of emotion. People don't like emotion, unsatisfying answers. It's all about the powers and control, not drafting Sanders early. Yeah. Tim, Mr. Taz says, I'm off break now. Have a go. Mr. Taz, you enjoy yourself, my brother. Hope you have yourself a good day. Stay safe. Let's see. Thoughts on Bo handling different things, hearing different things about him. My thoughts on Bo were this. He is an undersized, slight of build offensive lineman that's a little too tall for the position, but he has versatility. He reminds me of Matt from Connecticut, what Matt from Connecticut should have been 3 years into his career. He can play swing tackle. He can play guard. He's probably better than most of the backups that we have on our team. He is not going to be proficient at the point of attack from the running game, and his ability to pass block is what his strength is. I need a button that's like, nailed it. That's what Bo is. Bo to me is a backup projected low-end starter, which is fine because we need backs up on these offensive line. He's John Runyon light. He's a smaller, at 305 pounds, he's gonna get bullied. When we took JMS, I kept telling people over and over again, he's an undersized center who lost weight coming out of Minnesota. He's a wrestler who does not understand leverage. What did he do the first season? Had the most holding penalties by a starting center in the NFL. Last year, he got bullied and gave up the most sacks for a center in the NFL. I think he's a great kid. Like I said, I've met him. Here he is. Here we go. We have the same jaw. Excuse me. Need some water. We have the same jawline. I was laughingly telling people he's my uncle, or I'm his uncle. Oh, excuse me. Racism is not a factor at all. Everything is racism. It's not racism. You're right. The Eagles' first 5 picks this year were defensive players, 1 guard at the end. Are we so far behind? I don't know, my brother. Dying here. People are clueless. The Rams traded back because Atlanta was dumb enough to attach a first rounder to the pick. I know. Robert, I didn't want to get into it. I literally did not want to get into it. People are clueless. Thank you. For the love of God, thank you. It's important to listen to people you agree with and disagree with. I'm happy Dart got to sit for a year and hope we all do see this roster progress. Me too. Collusion is a part of it. Greg, email me. Well, Greg, you know what? Next time, you don't have to email me. You can still email me. I don't care. But next time, just I'm going to leave in a few seconds. Next time, just come on the show. Come on the show and tell me. Should I put the green screen back up? And I could do fun things in the back because I like this little thing going on here. I like this little link, whatever this thing is called. I like that. And I like the countdown thing. But do I put the screen back? Do I put the green screen up? It's all about professionalism now. Because we're professionals now. Professionals what? I got no fucking clue. But we're professionals now. I'm a professional. Collusion is a group of people acting together for a specific reason that goes against the state of allowed action. It's not racism. No, I don't think it's racism either. But I'm not going to keep getting into this. I don't want to keep getting into this. He's not with the Giants. Yes, they took Kyle McCord. They do take Kyle McCord. Malachi Fan says, Tim, I disagree with Abdul Carter. He's a draft bust. Oh, I've said this before, and I said the same thing with Travis Hunter. I don't think talent-wise they're a bust, but you go into the wrong scenario and you go into the wrong situation, that could make you a bust. And I do think that them coming to the Giants could potentially have bust-related implications. I can't talk today. There could be factors that make them a bust. And I think more of it has to do, and I know people don't want to talk about it because we just want to see Madden grades and not talk about schemes, but I think it's more part of the scheme and the system that you fit in that will allow you to be a bust. Did the Eagles take a quarterback? Yes, they took Kyle McCord, which makes to our Eagle fans, it makes zero sense, but that's okay. Captain Ramos says, I wonder what the offense will look like, built like with a new rookie. I feel like at the end of the year, I'll end up being Thomas, Neal, Schmitz, Bo, and Ellie Moore Fudd. It's Dionism and him not having an agent to tell him the truth. That's the thing. Like I said, I don't want to keep getting into this with Shedeur. Shedeur bucked the NFL system in reference to player evaluations and meetings and pro days and the combine. He basically said, I'm going to go totally different about what normally has been done. And that's not what you do in the NFL. And the NFL Brain Trust doesn't like that because they don't want players doing that. So I personally believe they taught Shedeur Sanders a lesson and said, no, you are going to have to follow the rules and follow the protocol that have been in place forever. Pietro says, what do you think Cam Skattebo's ceiling is? Oh, I think Cam will be a outlying starter. I don't think he is going to be a I don't think he's going to be this proficient player that people think he's going to be. But I do think that he is going to be a guy that is going to be that perfect bowling ball type back. He is going to be, if you want me to give you what's a good example? What's a good example of a running back right now? I'm trying to think of, I have a running back that I think is going to be that I could a former running back that I could compare him to. He reminds me a little bit of Bucky Irving over in Tampa Bay, who ran for over 1,000 yards. It was only 5'10", 195 pounds, but he was more of a speed back who had power and could get into that second level. That's why he averaged 5.4 yards a carry. So I think that would be a good ceiling, but I don't think he's gonna. Like I say, he just doesn't have the speed. I'm trying to look something up real quick, because I'm trying to think who would be more of a. I'm trying to think of more of a modern day player, and I can't think of one. I can't think of a modern day player. I could think of a player that was from yesteryear and years of yore that the Giants should. If you want to think, okay, go look this guy up because it's the only guy I can think of that I can really compare to. 5'8", 210 pounds, taking the 31st pick. His name was Doug Martin. He was the bowling ball running back in the draft where we took David Wilson. He went over to Tampa Bay. He was a guy that is a low to the ground, non-speed back who didn't have that initial burst. He only averaged a little, 4 yards a carry in 7 years, but he was this bowling ball back. He was a complimentary back. He was a back that if you looked at, Giants wanted Doug Martin, and they took David Wilson because they lost out on Martin, but they wanted Doug Martin. I think his ceiling would be Doug Martin. Travis Hunter's a unicorn. I'm heavily rooting for him. History says he's headed for a flame out. Hopefully Hunter's bucks the system. I agree. What does the team do with their final wide receiver spot? Cry. Cam to the Rams. Neighbors and Slayton are good enough, but we still need another guy. We do need another guy. But we have to wait and see what's going on with training camp. Getting snacks at 11:14, popcorn and 2 drinks. Let's see here. They let Royals slip away. They did. All right, guys. It's lunchtime. Guy on the San Francisco team. Crying. I'm laughing my half crying over you. All right, guys. It's the end of this day. I want to thank everyone for I'm not comparing Skattebo, but just saying I love it. Najee Harris is the fastest, slowest guy I've ever seen. Yeah, Najee, there's no second gear with Cam. I'm sorry. You can watch it. Sorry, at the movies. I thought I was texting my daughter. No, it's all right. What movie you seeing? Minecraft. See, Mr. G, you going to Minecraft? Hold on, Petro. I can't leave it. I gotta see if Mr. G's going to Minecraft. You going to Minecraft movie? Is that what's going on? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing? I can't go now until you tell me what movie you're seeing. Tampa Day, he did steal Martin away from us. You're right, 100%. All right, I gotta leave. Chicken jockey. It's funny. I'm going to enjoy my lunch. Thank you. I got my son big into Minecraft. Big, love the movie. North, not until dawn. Oh, okay. Well, I know how old your daughter was. I got my son big into Minecraft, and he loved the Minecraft movie. And they don't sell chicken jockey toys. So I literally got him. I went on eBay and found this guy that did it's pretty big. It's like this big. And they did a 3D hand printed chicken jockey, which was great because it showed up and you looked at it and you're like, wow, this is actually fucking awesome. I want a chicken jockey. Thank you, Logic Finance. The best to your family as well. And as always, guys, you know what? We have to get out of here. We have to leave. I appreciate everyone that came in and hung in for the last hour and a half. Everyone else, enjoy your lunch too. Thank you, Stu. We'll have a video out tomorrow. No live stream until later in the week, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, we have more channel news coming down the pike, not even just with the Believe Network. Any thoughts on Undistracted with Juice Wells? No, I'm Omega Supreme. No, I don't have any thoughts right now, but maybe I'll have some thoughts tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. And as always, don't forget to like, don't subscribe, ring that bell, that shit. You wanna know why? Because that would be awesome. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace. Hold on. It's funny. I'm still trying to play outro intro at the end of the stream. Stay in the studio until the outro finishes playing the broadcast and may not end properly. All right, everyone, we're going to play the outro. We have an outro now, too, because we're